That's his genuine self.
Okay, so what do y'all know about like his aspirations and his dreams? And because like sometimes people need to like be by themselves to elevate. And when I met him, he had everything I wanted. You know, it was like bam, bam, bam. Well, okay.
Now, first and foremost, before I say anything about this episode, I want to say this first of all, ready to love. Can I just say this now? Okay, I want people are ready to love people. I want you to understand something. Okay, you have behaved like an ex-girlfriend who's gone off into the distance and did whatever they did and has come back and thinks everything's going to be the same. How dare you? It's not going to be the same. Okay. Sometimes I get to watching this show and I think to myself, why do I even want to review the show? The disrespect of having us waiting for 4 months don't make sense. You know what I'm saying, Chu? The disrespect of having us waiting for 4 months don't really make sense. Okay. Now you might have your reasons, but because you haven't discussed that with me right now, it feels like you're taking a piss. So I'm struggling to feel energized to want to review this show. I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you're watching Ready to Love people, you got your scouters, you got your people who watch who watch us break this down. I'm gonna be very honest with you. You don't make us enough money for you to do this again. You do this next year, I promise you, I ain't gonna be reviewing the show. I don't make enough money for you to do this. I'm gonna be very honest with you again. I'm gonna be very honest with you. You don't make enough money like that again for you to do this again. I'm gonna tell you this now. So if you do this again next season, I will not be reviewing the show. Forget it. It doesn't make sense. You're wasting my time. You're wasting everybody else's time. And you're wasting the audience time, leaving us for 4 months with no explanation as to why this happened. No courtesy, nothing. Just 4-month break and think it's okay. I want to let you know it's not okay. I don't care. Okay? So the next time you decide you want to take a 4-month break, trust me, I'll review another show. There are plenty of black shows out there we can review. You are no longer the only dating show now. Just want to be honest with you. Okay? All right? We're not making enough money for this. All right, so that's my little warning. But let's get into this particular show. I want to be honest with you. On this episode was interesting because Cisco had a situation where obviously Cisco and Tay had a situation because you know what? To be fair, you know, old girl said, "Listen, if you're not gonna be financially stable, she gonna be out," and I'm not gonna be mad at it because I understand that, like we had said this previously in a part 1 of the show, that there were going to be issues when it comes to finances. And if he's not stable, he will have issues. And Tay has exposed that, not in a way of being rude or disrespectful, but rather in a way of just being in a place of being saying, hey, look, you know what? I need the stability in order to continue onwards. Because I wasn't sure at one point if Tay was going to allow herself to be, you know, magnetized by his beauty and his good looks. But it's clear that she has definitely some standards and knows how to purport herself and knows that she needs to go for what's going to help her be in a better place. So I mean, I was happy about that particular aspect. Now there was some other conversations that were had. I think we need to explore. We also have Diona, Khalil, and Tay. Now I love Diona, and Diona knows I love her. You know what I'm saying to you? Me and her are quite similar. You know, I don't need to text you every single time. You don't need to text me every single time. But Diona isn't my babe. Okay, all right. Diona is not my girlfriend. So me texting Diona every month wouldn't make a difference. But if you're going to be my girlfriend, you're going to be my girlfriend. We can't have that, okay? You're a little bit too comfortable with this whole, we won't text each other during the day. It's beautiful when we come back home. We're a little bit too comfortable with that. I said this last time, a couple of seasons ago when, what's that guy's name? He was trying to date someone. I can't remember who the guy was. And he said he was at work for 8 hours and he can't text you. And I said, listen, I don't play them games. Okay. So long as your job doesn't lock your phone away. If your phone requires you to lock your phone away, that's completely different. You have no choice. Your job requires you to lock your phone away. That's different. But if you ain't going to be texting me for a couple of hours, 8 hours at the best, and then going to text me when you get home, or I can't wait to see you when you get home. Listen, I hear it. You know what? Had it been 1950s, nobody would say anything because there are no mobile phones. You got to go to work and come back. But we ain't in those seasons no more. We're in 2025, okay? And technology is there, okay? So that's just me saying that personally, all right? Now, maybe I'll change my mind in a few months' time or a few years' time. Who knows? But for me, that's why I was a bit like, no. And looking at that, I don't know if Diona and Khalil would make a good couple because I think that Khalil wants someone to be able to be checking up on him, communicating. As he said, he doesn't mind a little bit of clinginess. So that's going to be interesting. Now, Naim, we already knew Naim was going to go home. Okay, 5 kids. This one never gonna work. We already knew that Naim's 5 kids was gonna turn off everybody. That's a whole football team. Okay, that's half a football team for you to be looking after, for you to be a part of, to you to take care of. And so you coming into a space where you're single, alone, looking after yourself, to now looking after 6 mouths is crazy work. Now, of course, he might not have the kids every single time, but I gotta be honest with you. Okay, you know, I gotta be honest with you. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot of mouths and a lot of energy and a lot of emotions and a lot of baby mothers to be able to start maintaining. I was with Diona on this one. It's going to be very difficult to maintain a position. Okay. Now, I didn't think Naim should have been on the show anyway. I think everybody deserves love, but having 3 baby mothers is outrageous on a show like this. No offense to Naim, but I'll make it very clear. I said the same thing about Dante when he had the baby mother situation. To have several baby mothers is crazy work for you to put them on the show. Okay. All right. Cool. Cam, Rose, Angie. Well, listen, first and foremost, Cam, we got to talk about the fact that you don't like being taken care of. That's an issue. Angie, we got to talk about you. We got an issue. You don't like a man leading. You're both not good for each other. At this rate, you're going to cause carnage. You two are not going to be in the space. I'm sorry. This ain't going to work for me. Okay. And then we got to talk about Cam also, with Rose. Rose obviously said, like, she likes taking care of her man. And he said, I don't know if I can take that. I said, okay, that ain't going to work. All right. And then obviously Cam with Shakira. Sahara. Sorry, I don't know why I said Shakira. Sahara. And I was like, okay, at this rate, it is looking like it's a Sahara situation. I'm going to lie to you. It is looking like a Sahara situation. Because when I look at the fact that Rose is too caring, that's part of him. And then you got Angie who doesn't care enough. she's just doing things by herself. I said that Angie and Rose are 2 extremes, basically. If we're honest, Angie and Rose are 2 extremes of the same coin, So it's going to be Sahara at the end of the day. Yeah, he's going to be Sahara. And then Hussein, Rose, and Angie as well was quite interesting. And I say that because Hussein, obviously, we saw that Hussein wasn't texting them as often. Now, I said to myself, okay, Hussein, let's be honest. Are you really feeling them like that? Are you really feeling like that? So if you're feeling like that, we already know, it's gonna be a situation. So yeah, for me, I was like, this ain't it. So yeah, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into this for the rest of the panel when they come up in a few minutes. But let's take a little closer look at some things and break down as well, okay? Because I think it was important too. Let's look at this situation here.
Well, okay, so we're being honest. At the time, it did not work for me. Like, who doesn't want to feel like financially stable? Especially like where I'm at in life now, like in the things that I have going on.
Okay, they were grilling Tay, and I can't lie to you. Tay said, listen, I gotta explain to you. He ain't got a car. And it's less about the car, it's just not financially stable. Because it's not the car that's an issue. You can always get an Uber. It's the financially stable aspect of the situation. Is he financially stable? Is he financially stable? And I think that's the greater issue that she's having with the situation. And again, financially stable is different for different women, and it's different for different men. Like when you feel you're financially stable, and for me personally, I don't think exactly, Sipa. I don't think she needs to back down. And I'm not. And listen, the world is as it is, right? We expect men to provide of some sort, but at least be financially stable. Okay, we don't want you just providing quality D and not providing obviously financial stability. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with her saying that she wants that. I actually believe it. Okay,
I need someone that's also just as stable as I am. So when I was presented with that, it was something that I really had to juggle.
So as manly as he is, he still got a hurt.
Right.
And he was hurt by your response.
Her face dropped so quick, boy. Now I want to be honest with you. Look. I she's already apologized, so I don't know why the topic came up again like that. If she says she's already apologized several times, I don't know why she's having to apologize again, because yes, he was hurt by that, but she's already apologized. So what are we going back over it for? You know, what are we going back over it for? And Cisco looking like that, like, look at his face.
I apologize plenty of times, right, for having that kind of reaction. But also, I came into this process knowing what I wanted. I don't.
Anyway, listen, let me invite a few people up. I don't want to go too deep, like I said. We can do another day. Elcidio Hall. I'm going to say Arsenio Hall. El Cid, what are you saying?
Seemed like you gave me your internet disease tag. I almost didn't make it.
Girl, your internet was less stable than Cisco's finances right now. If you don't fix up.
I had to go to my Wi-Fi just to be here. So ooh, it's like 2 minutes up. Sorry, back it up. Yeah. I wonder, you know, how are Cisco's friends helping him through this tough situation? You know, or are they making it his woman's responsibility or Tay's responsibility? But here's the thing, you know. He's in Philadelphia. He's in the metro area as someone coming from New York who did not have a car in the longest time. It's okay if that is your method of transportation because you're in a big city. It is okay. You're going through a divorce. There are financial constraints. But my brother, we need a plan. We need a plan of action. We need to know, where are you going from here? But if you're still going to be on that bus pass and it's been 2-3 years, I mean, come on. The young lady has her standard. She has her preference. You do not meet that standard. Don't try to convince her otherwise. It's like, you know, gentlemen wish for us ladies to respect their preferences. And her preference comes with 4 wheels, a few windows, and a driver's license. So, I mean, they should just back it up. Yes, he has feelings, and that's okay. But how they communicate as a couple certainly is for them to navigate. But she has a standard, okay? And her standard comes what? As an automatic shift. And that's all she's saying. This is my standard. I need a man to meet me here, and he is not there. The thing with Tay, why are we entertaining this man, and he does not meet your standard? Your first gut when you met him at the mixer, when he said he cheated in the past, you know, your face kind of pulled back, and that was your first item you needed to exit stage left. But you're entertaining this man, and he does not meet your standard. Don't do it, baby girl. Don't do it.
I hear you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hear you. Sean, we're talking about obviously Cisco and Tay situation. I want to get your thoughts on that. How do you see the situation? You know, it seemed like the friends let her know about the car situation.
Well, I'm gonna stay on theme from last week. I got a song, like to hear it. Here it goes. This is a new hit. It's by Kalani. It's called Folded. Come pick up your clothes. I have them folded. I need Tay to pack up all Cisco's clothes, fold them up. It's a wrap, baby girl. This is the friend shot the gaslighter. I'm sorry. You know, everybody deserves love, but everybody don't need love. And it's got to be in the right time and season. So I need Tay to pack this up. Don't get attached. Let's cut it off. Let's clip this, fold everything up, hand them back to him. I know he got a couple things folded up at her place. I know it. I know it in my gut. I feel it. The brother got some things packed up in a you know, her spare drawer. Pack them up, fold them up, let it go.
No, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I think with this situation also, not unfortunately, but and again, I don't even think it's even about the car per se. You know, I just think he's just not financially stable enough for Tay. You know what I mean? Like the car is like you can get by, but if you haven't got your finances in order, or even if you haven't got your finances in order, you're not a financially astute individual. Again, look, there are levels to this. You know, there's financially stable. There's someone who's financially astute, and there is somebody who's unstable. Okay, and that right now it sounds like instability. And so in that particular space, like I think we said this previously, like having a plan is important, but number two also as well, being financially astute. So knowing more about finances so that when you are in a position to be able to handle finances, you hit the ground running. Better yet, not even just that, having some financial literacy also means that, you know, even if you don't have it right now, you are valuable to somebody because your literacy is something that counts as wisdom and actually can help people. So actually now you become a trustworthy person. So at least if you're not having financially stable, you have financial literacy. You know what I'm saying to you, right? So that you can be of value. That way he can get around that issue. He can get around this issue of not having a car, not having the finances, because he's financially astute. But that again requires there to be some knowledge. So just something to kind of think about. I mean, aspect for Cisco as well. Like, it's not to shame him. It's just to say, hey, look, there is a double standard here between men and women, and unfortunately, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, so, but I get it. Yes, Elsid, go for it.
We have another, you know, instability as well. I mean, I hope he's had this conversation with her. You know, the lack of communication with the family. That's another huge item for heavy lifting. So again, you know, he has to have a plan financially, but the emotional, you know, toll of trying to reconnect with mom and the other members of the family, that is another thing you're going to have to support him with. And emotional, you know, support can be just as heavy, if not heavier, than the financial side of things.
Definitely hear you on that one. Any other thoughts that Tay and Cisco, Sean?
Yeah, I just really hope that she doesn't buckle, you know, because I know sometimes, you know, the ladies, you know, feel a little sympathy for us. You know, we don't have our stuff together. You know, they, you know, want to try to heal and help and provide and, you know, help him come up. But I'm sorry, this dude is 40 years old, a little over 40. I think he's 41 or 42, whatever he is. You know, he has got to understand that you got to know when to hold him and when to fold him. And if you're not in a predicament, you know, if you're not stable, then you shouldn't be entering into the dating space. And I just feel like why Ready to Love has us looking bad out here, because why would they put this guy up here, you know? And I don't know if because he's, you know, a frat brother or Tommy, I don't know what the story is, but this guy should not be on a show like this. He is not ready. And then, you know, talking about his hurt feelings, then you got to cater to his hurt feelings. Like, I just think, like, come on, these are basic things. She is expecting you to, she's just not even saying, oh, I want you to be far above me. I want you to be at my level. I want you to, you know, I want somebody that can match at the very least what I have. So, yeah, I'm sorry for him. I don't know, you know, maybe he's a nice guy, good, you know, but don't mean that you need to be dating seriously, especially, you know, getting people involved. If you haven't got your ducks in a row, go get your ducks in a row, bro. It's all right. Sit this one out and get yourself together. And see, the problem is he done passed up his blessings because he's not the smartest either, because Shanice seemed like she was willing to, you know, be that for him, you know, pray for him, pour into him spiritually, you know, and possibly, you know, she wouldn't have a problem with it. But he busy chasing behind Tay, who wants somebody at her level or better. It's like you have to swim in the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, you know, another song. But, you know, I think he needs to swim in the lakes that he's used to. There are women that won't have a problem. So he needs to either find those women or sit it out until he's in a better position to be able to date a woman like Tay.
Oh, I don't even want to say something else. Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. So, I think again, like I said, I think it's important to, I think, yeah, it's interesting. Like the one that he wanted has a requirement for him, and I think that is interesting. I think that sometimes you can want something, and even though you want it, the person has qualifications that they need of you, and you may not be able to fulfill that at that particular time. And if that's the case, no biggie. You take yourself out of the game for a little while if that is the girl that you want, and you put yourself to work so that you're in that position to attain it. It's not a big deal. It's not like a massive thing. It's just a case of changing your perception and your trajectory, and just putting work in that immediate time, and that's all. You know what I mean? And it can get you to where you need to get to. So I think for me, I think Cisco can if he can just focus on what he needs to focus on, and start putting to himself in position to get to where he needs to get to, things will start changing for him as well. So I know that he might be using the show as a step up, as a step ladder to get into other shows. Hopefully it works for him. You know what I mean? In the meantime, this is a lesson for all of us that, just because, when you're not in that financial stable position, it does make it a little bit more harder to date, the one that you want. And we don't want you to settle. So if Cisco feels like Tay is the one that the type of woman that he wants is Tay, then he shouldn't settle. He should just do the work to get himself into a position where he's able to fulfill the needs of someone like Tay. I think that will be beneficial rather than trying to settle for some woman who can be on his level right now, and he will definitely feel pissed off because later on if he finally gets to where he wants to get to, and even if he doesn't, he'll be frustrated because it's not his type. It's not the one that he actually wants, Yes, I'll say.
It's like, okay, he wants to get to a level, and he's out in these internet streets saying, gone are the days, women don't want to build with a man anymore. Sir, what are we building? Where are we building it? And where are we trying to go? I mean, you can say all of that. You could say you want to build, and that's, really, really great. But what are we building? A sandcastle? What are we building? It's like, I feel like he knows what he kind of wants, but I don't think he has a plan. The lady like Tay, or the lady that he wants, needs a plan, a direction. And if he is to lead, where are we going? And that is the thing that it's like, where are we going? And you can't be going in her direction and just doing what she is doing, or hitching your wagon to her caboose. No, you've got to be the one, leading this charge. But where are we going, and what are we building? I get tired of going out here and seeing him saying all of that, and I'm like, sir, what are you building towards? And how are you going to get the materials to build that? And how do you wish for your partner to partner with you, not for you? That's my thing. I don't hear anything. And I don't think Tay is hearing anything because she's still questioning stuff. But as the chat say, sometimes she needs to stop kissing this man and giving him hope if he does not meet her standards.
I'm hearing you. Let me get Black in before we get to the next stage. Black, baby. What you telling me, bro?
I'm okay. So I think Tay knows that this is a failed connection. I really do. I think she's holding on. She's trying to make sure she stays on the show longer. When you are asked what you like about someone, she said that she felt protected. She felt it was an instant connection. For me, that's not enough. That's just not enough for you to tell me that that's the reason why you're interested in me. I think that she answered the questions well. I agree with the friend. She answered everything the way she's supposed to answer. But I don't know why Cisco even brought up the whole car thing. He's bringing up negative things about himself, and he's not really helping himself when he does that. So to me, I think that I just think it's a fail. It's a fail. I think, like I said, I think she's just there just to stay in the game. but she knows Cisco not the one for her. She's fooling herself. But this is a prime example how red flags are ignored daily when it comes to dating someone, not just from women, not just from men, but from both. Just not seeing the red flags, just refuse to see them. Like in the beginning, like Elsie said, you know, she had the energy of this is not for me. What changed? What changed? Sometimes it's more important for people to have eye candy than some substance. Or, you know, I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I'm just saying he has some more work to do. Just in my opinion, he has some more work to do before he decides to get ready for the dating game. That's all I'm saying.
I definitely hear you. I ain't gonna be mad at it. I definitely hear you. Okay. Let's roll it then to another dating situation that happened on the show.
He told you that stuff about me?
Oh, my internet trying to play me up.
What did he say?
You might be the one.
Okay. He told me that he was in a relationship for 11 years. And, you know, he has a little time, he has a little fun outside.
Okay, so we have Kiara and we have Jay, and she got to meet his friends, and you know he had spoken obviously highly with his friends, and it seems cool. There was nothing really crazy in this particular episode, this particular scene that I remember or recall. I think the only thing was that little joke that she made about, are we, you know, he said obviously pretty much he was saying that they go together, and she was like, oh, do we? In a sense. That was the only thing that was really happening. It wasn't anything crazy happening with their situation as of yet. But I want to get your perspectives on this Kiara and Jay situation, how you see them working out. Because I still feel like Kiara's the kind of girl that I already said last week that I feel like with Jay is actually a nice guy, or I should say a decent guy, he seems. He wants to take care of responsibilities, but he also, for me, not going to say problematic, but I feel like he likes the bad girls. I feel like he likes the bad girls. Sir, last week, the last episode, we saw you struggling with a man who was a friend, who she said was a friend that she had dated, or one date anyway, and he still liked her. Has that situation been sorted? Has it been cleared? Has she removed him? What's been the discussion since then? You know, I think Jay does like a little bit of that. He likes a little bit of that chaos, a little bit of that drama. I think it makes him feel a little bit alive, because he should drop her like a hot potato. You know what I mean? But I want to get your guys' and ladies' perspective, how you see this situation, because you may have a different perspective on this. Black, I'll let you go first. What we're saying about this situation here?
You know, when I first saw this, okay, it was a couple of things that caught my eye. That's not directly in what you're saying with them. I thought they were brothers. I thought that was his little brother, to be honest with you. When I saw them face to face, I don't know if anyone else caught that, anyone else felt that, but I saw that they looked like they were big brother, little brother. I think what really caught my eye was the fact that Jay has been in a relationship for 11 years, and Kiara's like, I want to be married within 3 years. So Jay is like, hold on. So I think that they need to be some conversation about that, because to me it just don't seem like it's a good fit either, because their views are different when it comes to that. The friend spoke highly of him, which is what his friend is supposed to do. I think his friend was a great wingman. He pumped him up. He did what he's supposed to do. He came there and got the job done. But I think that there's some things that both Kiara and Jay need to find out about each other besides just the physical attraction. But when it comes down to that marriage and how long it takes for marriage, and you need to be aligned with that, because you're wasting time if that's not aligned. So that's it.
Definitely hearing that. El Cid, what are you saying about these two? What have you spotted? Is there some dark arts here?
Here's my thing with Jay. I don't know enough about Jay. I really don't. Production has kept a lot of details about Jay that we only know his job because of the first episode. We saw him date Coley. We know he has 2 children and he's the primary custodian. Other than that, I don't know anything about Jay. And that's my problem. He's too much under wraps, too much we don't know, or at least I don't know, that is telling me, you know, Jay, I ain't gonna say you wilding out or whatever, but the good part is the upstanding way he handled the whole Kiara and that disastrous meet the ex. But I don't know enough about Jay, and they keeping Jay under wraps, and I don't like it. And I keep telling, and y'all make fun of me whenever I say it's Philly, but for me, if I don't know a whole lot about you, and you going through here, and Kiara wants to claim my man, and you willing to take on the fact that she has an incarcerated father of her children coming out, and you willing to carry this heavy load, Jay, are you playing in my face? Are you here to make it to the end like I'm thinking Tay? Am I thinking that this ain't really what you want, but you just here till the end? But I don't know enough about Jay, and that's why he's a big question mark. And I am just like a little bit worried, because when they hide them from us like this is when the retreat shows us some wild behavior. And that's what I'm worried about with. There's nothing too alarming what the friend said, other than what ended that 11-year relationship. It's telling me that maybe if the relationship is not serving him, Jay is still going to hold on. Is he going to contort himself to make himself who his partner wants him to be? Or is he just going to hold on, even though it may be a detriment to him emotionally, financially? When does Jay say enough is enough? That is what I gather from this. Jay would hold on. He will keep on trying, but at what expense? That's all I can say about Jay based on what we've seen or not seen and the friend visit.
Perfect. Sure. Definitely hear you on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about this whole scenario. Well, I do know what to think. I'm just trying to be nice. This is going nowhere fast, you know? Kiara, she's a beautiful girl, but no matter what happened, something went awry when she decided to bring that ex back. I still can't get over that. I'm sorry. I still can't let it go. And it's not her fault that he's a creep, but it's her fault that she brought him on. And if she's known him her whole life, then she knows that he's a creep. So I'm sorry. And I watched an interview she did on somebody else's channel, and she said they were on her back because none of the other ladies, a lot of ladies just weren't bringing people on. Well, I'd have been like, add me to that list. Because if I got to bring this person who I know is problematic, why? You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like he was a total embarrassment on a lot of different levels. One, trying to profess his love to her in the middle of that, and then two, just being weird and combative. I just feel like she just, I just feel like maybe her judgment is a little off when it comes to the type of men that she chooses. And I don't be judgmental and stuff, but you got an ex in prison. You got this dude that you brought here. You reach back and brought, and then, fast forward to Jay. Why are his friends touting a relationship of 11 years that he likely started when he was a teenager? Like, I just don't think that that's ground to say that he's stable in a relationship. This is a relationship that you had when you were theoretically a child. Your cerebral cortex wasn't fully developed when you started this relationship, and probably once you left it. So I don't think that's a flex. To me, that's not a flex. I think he would be better off talking about what is his mindset? What are the things that he wants to do in a relationship? What did he learn from that relationship? What does he learn from other relationships that maybe weren't that long? I just think talking about something and like making that a badge of honor, that to me is not, that's sinking sand. And I mean, I'm glad he likes her. That's a plus, but I just feel like at the end of the day, this is just about to explode, and then seeing the previews, it's about, she's reminding me of Vern screaming Joel, you know, at the retreat. It ain't looking too good.
I mean, listen, yeah, I agree with you. I think discernment here is showing that there may be some patterns of poor choosing when it comes to men. I think we were already concerned when we talked about the ex that was a boxer and he was in jail and all that kind of stuff. I was already concerned when she told that story. Now we have that, and we have this man here. It's given as a pattern of poorly executed choices that she has made. That will potentially, if you choose her, you should probably question yourself too. Maybe you are, maybe if she's choosing you and got a bad pattern of choosing bad men, you might have to start looking at yourself and be like, what's going on? Maybe I'm an issue myself. Maybe I'm a red flag and I ain't really deep it yet. You know what I'm saying to you? But you know, I think you know, in this space, you know, I think for me personally, it's again, I think that's a great point in terms of seeing a pattern of choices, which means that more than likely she also has a temperament that also is conducive for that environment of that type of male, which also means that if that is the case, more than likely, if you start dating her, you will have a period, if not the entire period, of having a series of rocky conversations with that person because of the way that they are wired to deal with nonsense. Because to stay in a relationship with somebody who's got nonsense, who is not a great partner, who's abusive, who's toxic, and all those things, it does something to you. You have to learn how to survive that relationship. And if you don't heal, you actually start taking on those particular traits and characteristics. So now you are now she will become that party who does the craziness to somebody decent in a relationship, and you won't realize before it's too late. So this is something that Jay needs to actually start paying attention to, number one. But two, also Kiara also needs to look at the fact that she may need to heal from some of those past relationships as well before actually really properly dating. So yeah, I take what you're saying, Sean, about the patterns and looking at that. I think that's a good point. Black, you're nodding your head. What's your thoughts on that, and what contributions you want to add to that?
Absolutely. I think that there is some residue that's left from that relationship. It has to be, especially because they got into a relationship when she was so young. He said as soon as she turned 18, he was on her. So to me, that says, okay, he's trying to mold her in such a way. And I think it's going to come out a little later on. It was a little spoiler at the end of the show where there was the interaction between her and Jay. I think some of that is going to come out as for the episodes come on. But I definitely agree with you on the fact that something is stuck. I don't know exactly how long. I don't know if anyone remembers how long they say they were together, but if it's had anything with years in it, that's going to be a tough one. So it could be something that she's already seek therapy about, or had better relationships and saw a different view on relationships and has gone through that. Because where she is now versus where she was 18, I'm giving some credit, you know, where credit could be due when it comes to growth since then. If it was something more recent, where it was like a few years ago, last year or something like that, it'll be a big red flag for me, seeing him introducing himself to me and him talking the way he was talking, knowing that, okay, there's some of that that's still there. If you can be with that man for that long and not find it to be a problem until the end of the relationship, that's a big problem for me, because that's a big red flag for anyone else that would encounter a guy like that, in my opinion.
Any other thoughts from Sean or Elsa in this regard? Yes, Sean.
Just a song, you know, and it's by Kelly Price. It's an old one, but it's called Healing. You know, I think this is just applicable for a good chunk of the people in this cast, you know, but I need a healing for my soul. I think Kiara needs a healing. I think Jay needs a healing. I just see a lot of just healing that needs to happen. And I understand. Listen, I too would love to be in love, but I think we also have to know when it's just not the right timing, and we got to work on the things from our past, because they're just going to be repeated in different ways and keep showing up in different ways. And I just see that. I see that in Kiara, and I see that in Jay. And, you know, we're just going to keep repeating that. It's just going to be the mask, or the person is going to be just slightly different. but we're going to encounter those same types of things. So healing. I think we need healing.
Definitely hear that. El Cid, any other thoughts before I change it?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay, let's change it then. All right, so obviously another situation that took place was the Cam, the Rose, the Angie situation as well. So let's talk a little bit about that in that regard as well. So let's have a look at this lovely relationship aspect. Oh, damn. I don't cut the share screen. My bad, guys. Let me bring that back. Here we go. There we go.
Really popular. Wow, people really like you. Okay.
Relax. Right.
Okay, so obviously there were some interesting comments that were made. Angie said she's too independent to be led. Cam said that he doesn't take caring very well. Rose said that she's too caring. I think I already said that, isn't it? Rose said she's too caring as well. Sahara said she's just gonna be me. So I want to get you guys' perspective on this. I didn't even know that he had a liking for Angie until last episode, but all was revealed on these shows. But it's interesting to hear the different perspectives on that. Oh, I'm seeing a crowd saying that he's controlling. Okay, I didn't get that particular perspective from necessarily Cam, but maybe my panelists did as well. Maybe they picked up some of those things. Did you guys pick up the notion of Cam being controlling in this scenario? Did you get that vibe from some of his answers that he was necessarily saying? El Cid, did you see any of that controlling behavior from Cam per se?
Okay, I didn't see it at first. I can concede that maybe it can be perceived as controlling. That, hey, I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to make sure you good. It can be seen as controlling in that if your partner says, hey, I really don't want your input right now. I really don't want you involved right now. Yet you still wish to put your foot in it. So it can be a matter of you're going to push your way in no matter what my, choice is. So I can see that. I can see the other side of it as I'm not going to leave you to be adrift. I'm not going to leave you without someone to be tethered to, and it can be seen as controlling or it can be seen as I'm here to support, but it can be seen in a negative light. Now, what I had, what perked my ears up was when Angie walked in. And Angie draped herself across Cam and looked back at his friend to see how she reacted. That's what perked me up. I'm like, Angie, why do we have to do all this? We're just meeting his friend. Why did we have to put this on display? That I didn't like. I was like, the friend is a friend is a friend. She too clocked it because the way she looked at Angie, she was like, girlfriend, you ain't got to do all that. But I thought that was a little too much for me for the meeting of the friend. I do understand, Angie, sometimes you want to accomplish something on your own, but I'm not going to speak to my partner and say, sit your A down. I'm sorry. I don't know in what world I'm going to speak to a loved one if they want to help or control or whatever and tell them my initial response is, what if I tell you sit your A down? I guess maybe that's just not how I speak, at least to my partner, but I'm not doing that. I'm really not. But yeah, it can be controlling because I cannot see her telling Cam to sit in the passenger side while she drives to the hospital to have the baby. That ain't happening. That is not happening with Cam. So it could be, I could see both sides of it, but I was like, Angie, you have some problematic behaviors that I'm also picking up on. So, yeah, Cam is in a pickle. Okay, he got a thruple that I didn't see coming, but he got a quadruple. He got to trim it. He got to trim it because these ladies, again, y'all know I call them the feisty Philly. Y'all could say it Philly as in Philadelphia or Philly as in a Philly, but these three ladies together, he may end up by himself because ain't none of them gonna fight over anybody for any gentleman. So, as Sahara said, choose wisely.
Black, talk to me.
Okay, let me just start by saying this. El said, I respect your view on the hug that Angie gave, but I'll tell you this. If a woman is into me, I need that type of hug. I want you to come at me like, hey, I need to know. I need to feel it. Make me feel that you're into me. So I like the hug, Angie. I actually do. Yeah, I don't know if it was for show for the friends to say, okay, hey, she's the one who was showing a lot of emotion, but she did that when nobody else was around. Like the other two girls were not around when she hugged them like that. So I don't know. It seemed genuine in a sense to me. But I just know that if I'm in that position and my woman is coming or someone who's interested in me is coming, I want to feel that. When you see me, I want you to be excited because I want to be excited to see you too. So that's just a thing about me. So the friends were saying that Cam can be tied to emotions, right? The big thing that kind of leaped out at me was the fact that Angie interrupted the flow of the conversation to say that she's never said something about love or to the effect of her not allowing a man to lead, right? Never been in a situation where she allowed a man to lead. So for me, I think that it's possible for Angie to be led, but she has to be open to it herself. It's not going to be a situation where a man can come in and kind of force himself in that position. She has to be open to it. I think any woman has to be open to being led in order for it to really take place. So I think with Angie, it's possible, but it doesn't seem like it's possible. But especially with her just interrupting to make that point when it wasn't a discussion about her and not having that in her life, I think that's to make the flag a bit brighter red for me, because she's making it known now that she's having an issue with being led. I didn't hear anything about her saying she'll be open to it. But at the same time, Cam said, what did he say? Cam doesn't like being taken care of either. So, it's like, how you guys gonna really balance each other out if one doesn't like being led, other don't like being taken care of. So what is the purpose of the relationship at that point? Is it just something that's going to be physical, which it does appear to be between Angie and Cam? Yeah, Rose, it was good and asking questions. I think Sahara was there too, right? Yes, she was there. Sahara was there, but I don't think that Sahara is good with interacting when other ladies are around. I don't think she's really into the competition of it all. She wants to thrive. She wants the one-on-one time. She doesn't like anyone coming on and what's coming into the picture, which could be a problem. Like if Cam has female friends that come into the mix, I can see that being the issue for Sahara. She wants to be the center of attention, in my opinion. She wants to be the only one that her man cares about, and I think she's kind of spoiled in that way. Not necessarily saying it in a bad way when I say spoiled, but she kind of just needs that type of energy from her man. This is something I picked up from her. With any man she's been involved with, she likes that one-on-one attention. But yeah, that's all I have for them.
Go for it, Sean.
I mean, this whole conversation was actually stressing me out. It was so chaotic. Whether it was from Angie walking in and the hug, and then we'll get to Angie again later with Hussein, because that was a whole nother thing. Then we have Sahara in the mix, and I'm still trying to figure out why Cam is holding on to her in such a way. And then we have Rose. So it's just a lot of, and just her. I mean, I liked Rose a lot in the beginning, but now I just need her to, stand for something. Because now she was talking about how much in religion and her, you know, having a mate that, you know, shares the same beliefs was important to her. And now she's willing to get with Cam, who is almost an atheist. And then we got this conversation about who's going to lead who's going to teach who's going to show who's going to love who better. All of this conversation is just stressful. And I just think leadership, protection, and provision has our people in a chokehold. We need to really understand what these words mean. And if we're going to embrace them, truly embrace them for what they were meant to be designed to, not just buzzwords, or not just you waking up and saying you just feel like because you're a man, you can tell a woman what to do. That's not what that means. It is a biblical principle that people have stretched and contrived themselves to make it be something that it's really not. And I just am stressed out by it. And I'm also stressed out by the love languages. I wish, if you never read the book, don't talk about the languages. Don't tell me what your love language is. If you didn't read it, I don't care. This isn't a book. This isn't, the concept is not for Cliff Notes. Read the book. It's a short book. Then you'll understand. Because Rose, the love languages are what you give to the other person. And then you tell the other person how you want to be loved, not for you to tell the other person how you want to love them. And that's where I finally got it. It made sense to me, this episode. This is what Rose's ex was talking about. And this is the problem that she faces in relationships, because she wants to show up and love somebody the way she wants to love them. That's not how it works. Don't quote the love languages are about you identifying what feels good to you, how you receive and perceive love, so you can tell the person you're in relationship to love you in that way. Not for you to identify how you like to love somebody else and then tell them, well, this is what I'm going to do. You know, that's not how it works. You know, and I think they just kind of were going, her and Kim were going in this back and forth. And then he's talking about, I like to lead, but I don't want my woman to cater to me. So what do you want a woman to do? Like, that is a woman's like, I don't want to generalize. I mean, not every woman in the world is nurturing, but at a woman's essence, nurturing, caring for is in there. So you don't want her to be herself with you? I mean, I can understand you've never had it. You never had a woman love on you, you know, in that way. And you just may not be unfamiliar, but to be rejecting of it. So what would you like her to do? Y'all want to be in a cipher? You want to rap with her? Like, what do you want her to do? Like, that's all I'm saying. Is like that's the part that just had me befuddled and baffled by this whole, you know, situation with him and his friends.
Well said, brother. Well said. Yeah, I agree with you with the love languages, man. I hear people talk about it all the time. Like, have you read the book? Do you know what it's really about? I think Rose just comes off as one of those people that in order for a relationship to work, you have to match exactly with Rose. Like, with her, it's more of a, if anything goes left or right, out of position with Rose, it can cause some problems. But if Rose is going step by step with her man, the man is going step by step with Rose, and it's what they consider to be a beautiful dance, then to me, I think that, you know, it's a possibility it could work. But Rose does need a lot of work. She needs a lot of insight on what a relationship is really built on and how to sustain a relationship. Yeah, she definitely needs help in the area. But you hit a lot of points, Sean, that I didn't think about until you said them. So I just want to say bravo, bro. You did a good job on that one, for sure.
Sean cooking them nice and early as he usually does. You know, listen, you know, I think it's important also to like see, you know, I think I personally believe that Cam sees qualities in all of them, but I don't think any of them actually encapsulate all the qualities that he requires in the woman that he wants, right? So of course, it's Ready to Love. He's trying to stay on the show because I think Angie's strength, he loves it. I think he loves her independence. It works for him, right? But her lack of ability to be led is going to be a problem. I think he loves that Rose is catering and she's loving and she's caring and she's wanting to be, but his inability to take care, to allow her to care for him is also be a problem, right? And then you got Sahara who he can lead, but she gonna pop off. Okay, so she gonna be a bunch of fireworks every single time. So he gonna be putting out fires all the time, and pun intended. So it's like, you know, I think with Cam, there's the women encapsulate a little bit of everything that he wants, but I think also as well, like he said, I know this is my belief. My belief is that honestly, for him, he needs to go to the drawing board and figure out what he requires, because then you'll cancel out all this noise, because all of it's noise. It's noise because if you don't know what you're looking for, what you exactly need, but you know the feeling, that's where you always get in trouble. Because a lot of times people move by a feeling. It's like once I meet him or I meet her, I'll know. And that's actually not as much like that's also partly true. You also fumble that way because there's a lot of people who can make you feel like they could be the one, but do they match up to the values? Do they match up to the goals, ambitions, the ideas that you have for your life? Are they complementary in terms of the how do we say this word? This is what I'm thinking for, but it'll come to me in a second. But are you matching in terms of, do you want kids? Are you matching in terms of your faith? Are you matching in terms of where you want to live geographically? Are these ideals which are essential to having a coherent relationship there for you? And once you're able to nail that down for yourself, as much as feelings and vibes is amazing, you are often filtering people through that lens that even though it feels good, I want you to know that this must match what I need. And right now, I don't know if Cam is in tune with himself enough to know what he essentially needs, but he can feel it that these three, I don't believe, necessarily meet it. Right now, Sahara's in the lead because I think she has enough of all the qualities, quote unquote, to say, enough to get him by. You know what I'm saying, Chu? Enough to get him by for the show, enough to get him by, to maybe mess around, whatever. But I don't see that as the final lady he resorts to. But again, I've been wrong before. You know what I mean? But for me personally, I'm just not seeing it in that particular way. Any other thoughts from the guys or the ladies? Yes, Black.
Yes, I just want to say that'll be the worst decision for him to go to Sahara. I think it's smoke and mirrors when it comes to what he sees in her. I think is a project for him. Once he finishes that project, he's going to get bored. I think he needs that type of excitement in a relationship. Cam seems like he wants to be needed, wants to be wanted, which is, to be fair, most of us do want to be wanted and needed. But in a sense of, look what I did for you and look what a great man I was to you versus what you've experienced before. And a lot of men do have projects that they think that where women are, and it's just not true. Women are not projects. So to me, I think after Cam is with Sahara, fixes whatever trauma she has going on or tries to assist in any trauma that she has going on, I think once it's done, he's going to be done. I think out of all of them, I don't think anyone is a good pick for him, though, but just my opinion, I think out of all of them, possibly Rose. Now, again, Rose has a lot to work on, and Cam has a lot to work on, but they need to communicate better and say what their wants and needs truly are. But it's a red flag with that when it comes to religion. So, if you have a man that is not willing to go to church and not willing to follow and build a relationship, then it's out for that too. So it's a tough call. I don't think any one of them, maybe each one of them have one trait that he likes, but it's not more than that. So it's a tiebreaker that just shouldn't be a tiebreaker. We're just here.
Well, I do have a song. That's all I got. And it's not a very deep song, but I think it's Cam's anthem, and it's a soca song called "Follow the Leader." Follow the leader, leader, follow the leader. Hands up, down, down. Now everybody put your hands in the air. I just feel like Cam just likes telling people what to do. I just feel that way, Maybe it's the firefighter in him. I'm not sure if that's why he is caught up in the rescuing and, you know, giving orders and commands. But I think that song is apropos.
Definitely here. Definitely here. Just want to show you that little bit of that hug that you guys saw earlier on. That's what it looked like. Damn.
That's it right there. I need that.
Marking that territory. She said,
You know what? I totally forgot that was his Cam's friend, though. Can we talk about Cam's friend?
Gorgeous woman.
Was beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Why is she just a friend? That's what I want to know.
I definitely think there's some history there. I definitely think there's history.
Excuse me.
What?
As a lady that could be platonic, she may know where all the skeletons are in that closet or buried somewhere, and she wants no parts of it. I'ma watch you play from afar, but I am not gonna get in the mud with you. Hey,
no, you know that never stopped a brother. I'm sorry. That's not. That's.
No, I'm not saying they ain't gonna stop his attempt. I'm saying she gonna be like, you better stay over there.
You ain't gonna be my friend if I'm on that time. If I'm on demon time, you can't be my friend. I'm gonna try again. So you ain't gonna be my friend.
So she probably said no, ain't gonna happen.
And she gonna stay around? I'm a dog that doesn't know boundaries. I'm so sorry. You gonna tell me no? I'm gonna be like, all right, okay, today, but you know, I'm gonna try to drop some bars tomorrow.
I'm not saying you ain't gonna be marching time and trying to be like Missy's friend waiting to hop on that, but she gonna keep on saying stiff arm. You gonna stay far away.
Black, please tell her.
Yo, man, listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When it comes to dark arts, let's say dark arts. A man knows what he's doing in this situation. He's either been there, or it's nothing about this that makes me feel like they don't have a history. Because one, she decided to come onto the show. That's one. That's a good friend, right? We can say that's a good friend. But the details that she was giving where it's not just so much of a friend telling a friend type detail. You've experienced these things. So I think it may have been a short-lived relationship and they try to bounce back to friendship, but the attraction is still there. And I don't care what kind of friend you have. Any friend, there's something about them that you're attracted to. It doesn't have to be anything physical. It can be personality. It can be physical. It can be anything. But it's something about them that you're attracted to. That's why you consider them to be a friend. For her to still be there, there's something there. I just think there's something else.
Objection.
That's fine. I'm sure Sean's gonna set us straight.
Go ahead, Sean. I'm a rebuttal.
There's a very famous song that goes back decades, and it's by the late great Biz Markie.
We heard it.
You said he's just a friend. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. You know, especially when you got two attractive people, somebody's feelings is gonna feel. Feelings are gonna feel. Feelings are gonna do what they're gonna do. And whether those feelings are just lustful feelings or they're romantic, whatever the feelings will feel. So, and it don't matter, because some of the ladies like to be like, well, I told him and he tried. Yeah, you may not have had the feelings, but he had the feelings. So it's maybe as one-sided as it is, it still comes with its, challenges. So I just want to say, when I saw an old girl, I was like, okay, she was looking good, She was looking good. She was talking like she had some sense too. I don't know, and if you got something right in your face and you fumble that also speaks to, why are you chasing a problem when you got somebody right there that can, hold it down? I don't know. Just saying.
I really don't like it. I really don't like it that y'all are saying this, that folks can't be forever platonic. Forever. And like you trying to tell me, Black, I was raised around my friends. Okay, I was around my friends from pacifier. I know the foolishness they do in their relationships, and I could speak like this friend. and ain't nothing that ever happened. So that's why I'm kind of counteracting what Black is saying. Like, she's speaking like if she's experienced it. No, she's watched the foolishness from the sideline and was like, haha, ain't never gonna be me, so I ain't never gonna be part of your roster or rotation.
So is the
No.
only qualification that you wouldn't be part of the roster because you don't want to be playing like other girls, which means you would if it wasn't for
No.
that case. It's like when
No.
it's like when a girl says to you,
No.
I can't take a number because I got a boyfriend. So if you don't have one, you would
No.
take a number. Yeah.
No, that's sometimes an excuse we
Is it
use
one of those?
to just pander you around to make you go away. Shoe fly shoot.
That's true as
one of
well.
them
I'm not gonna lie,
excuses.
that's also true as well.
Okay, hey.
Hey, but at the same time, it does not mean that Cam was always in working like this. He may have been a better guy when they were together, but now he's different. But the big question is, why did Cam bring this particular friend? Why did you bring this friend? Nope, not to test him at all. I think he brought this friend because of the history, and he may want this friend back. Because what Sean said is very profound. I'm gonna put a little twist to it. Why are you why are you having a problem? Why you got these problems here when you got a solution right in front of your face with his friend? So why is she still there? If he's toxic male energy that he's giving her, why is she still there as a friend? Why is she cool enough for him to come to the show to do this? And why would he ask her to come to the show? My thought is this: he likes his friend. The presentation with the three ladies, look, others like me too. I need you to get it together. I need you to, I need for you to look at what I have out here. Look at all this potential I have. You're about to miss out. So I think that's what Cam is doing. Just a little piece of me just feels that, just a small percentage of me feels that Cam is doing that. He's putting it out there because the friend is an attractive friend. And I can't see why that wasn't pursued or even thought to be pursued. And I just can't see why that wouldn't be a thing. And I just got through talking to you guys about ignoring red flags. Cam and her have that type of friendship that something has sparked there at one point or the other, just because they're both those type of people. You know what I'm saying? They're attractive people. So when two attractive people get together and they form that friendship, those thoughts can enter into anyone's head. I'm not saying you have to act on them, but the thoughts can enter in the head. So they've been friends for a long time. I'm just saying, you can just call it what you want to.
Objection, speculation. I'm sorry. Very well articulated, Black. You always speak very well, okay? But I'm going to have to side with the friend. Y'all don't know if this woman got a man. She's of no threat. And then Cam, seeing that everybody else is bringing their male friends around, I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to bring a lady that's a friend here. Again, I'm not negating what you're saying, but you're jumping off of a ledge. We don't know. This girl may have a man and is a good friend, and that's okay. But the way you're throwing this seasoning, like we can't just be fully platonic forever and ain't nothing happened. I as a card carrying platonic friend, attractive people can be friends and not be attracted to each other.
What your man got to do with me? Don't you
I
know
told
these
you,
lyrics
I'm not trying to hear that
created
speech.
for a reason? That's what y'all want to talk about. We don't care. Like, I'm not saying, and I see other people like, it's not about she doesn't have control to like him. We're talking about once you introduce desire and feelings, it is not a real friendship anymore. No matter how one-sided it is, it's not a true friendship. That's the point we're trying to make. Not about she could have 20 kids at home. It doesn't matter. That's never stopped anybody ever in the history of ever. Has kids, a husband, a boyfriend, or anything, or girlfriend. It doesn't stop anybody. That's the point we're trying to make, is that this beautiful woman is on our screen as his friend who knows him very well. There's got to be a history, and either two of them have feelings or one of them have feelings. That's all. That's the only point I'm making. Somebody, you assess all these this plethora of male friends that you have. Trust me, you give them a go. There's some of them that will go, and I would venture to say a higher percentage will go than will say no. That's all I'm saying. And I just also ended with the point of, hey, you're trying to battle with Sahara. You're trying to lead Angie that don't want to be led. You're trying to get drag Rose out of the church where she wants to be and you don't want to be. And you got a friend who you've had a long-standing relationship with, where friendships are generally based on people having common things. So if he ain't about Ish and she's still his friend, then she ain't about Ish. And I'm not saying she is, but that's what you introduced. So if she's not about Ish and now that's her friend, then you ain't about Ish. Maybe not to the same degree, but if you're going to sit around and watch somebody do dirty and you could still be their friend, their close proximity friend, that says a little something about you too. So, and I don't think that that's Cam. I just feel like these two have a lot in common. And hey,
Kojo, we can end this right now. Can you go ahead and replay that clip? I want to look for the ring. Let me look for the ring on her finger in that clip and see if if she does have a man.
Ring don't mean that just means she's not married. Doesn't mean she doesn't have a man or men.
Even if she does have a man, that doesn't mean that she always had a man. You know, they've been friends for a long time. She can have a man for the past couple of months, or had a man 6 months ago, but single now. That doesn't mean that she's had a man the duration of their friendship. The point that I'm making is that when two attractive people are together, the thought does enter the mind. I'm not saying you have to act on it. I'm not saying you're going to do it, but the thought does enter the mind because you see someone who's attractive as across the aisle. They see you attractive across the aisle. And unless something else stands out after the attraction takes effect, like I said, it's more likely that she found out these things about Cam after they indulged. That's just my thought. We can move on.
Good little back and forth. I like that. Y'all, yeah, you know, I don't know if they actually likes her or not. All I know is, you know, I liked what the boys were saying. I liked it. You know what I mean? She is pretty. Can't lie to you. You know, so maybe, you know, maybe she likes him and he doesn't like her. Who knows? You know, it could be one of those things too. So, I guess we'll find out. Maybe never. All right, cool. So let's shift it on. It seems like she hasn't got a ring on her hand. So let's talk about obviously Diona, Tay, and Khalil and their situation as well. Jalil.
How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm Tay.
I'm Brian. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Homie
Brian.
Brian Tay. What's up? How are you? I hope that Brian can help me make a good impression on these ladies.
Think he's ready for a serious relationship?
I think he's ready for a serious relationship.
Yeah.
He wants to, you know.
All right, Khalil and you know, Khalil, Tay, Diona. Tay let us know that she likes the reassurance. She likes to be close to a man. She likes a man texting her. She likes a man messaging her. She's about that life. Diona said, "Listen, you can message me at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Okay, all right, but you ain't gonna get much out of me during the course of the day. Okay, because I'm busy. All right. Shout out to Diona. She knows that. You know, I gotta love her. But I want to get you guys' perspectives because Khalil seemed to appreciate Tay's response as well. But I definitely want to see what you guys and ladies felt about the interactions because I feel like I think Tay and actually Khalil, you know, do look kind of decent together. You know, it seems like it can work. He seems like he's stable financially. Seems like it. We don't know. He seems like it. You know, he seems like a sensible individual. You know, quite even killed. And you know, they seem to have a good chemistry in terms of liking each other rather than actually just being physical. You know what I mean? So I want to get you guys' thoughts and ladies as well. What are you guys seeing from Tay and seeing from Khalil and Diona situation? How do you guys see it? Who wants to take that reign? Who's feeling
Diona
from?
need to go
Mhm.
home. I mean, Diona need to go home. Ain't nobody here up to her caliber. If she says it, ain't nobody up to her standards here. The whole Khalil again. Khalil to me is again. I'm going to reiterate what I said about Jay. We have not seen enough of Khalil's interactions with these ladies and any other dates. We did see him be very understanding with Mr. Google Voice number. I can't remember her name right now. And we did see him, be very hospitable with, all the minimal interactions we saw. But Khalil, I need to see more. He seems to be, as you said, well-mannered, well-spoken. He has well-traveled. He is stable financially and with his business acumen. But other than that, I don't know anything about Khalil other than I know more about what he does between the sheets than what his personality is on a day-to-day. And that for me I don't think is doing him enough justice. He is a handsome man, Savannah. Very attractive man, Savannah. So my thing is, I need to see a little bit more as to how he would operate in a relationship, how he would operate more with a partner. That's what I need to know more about with Khalil. But yeah, throwing him out here with all these dates and meeting all these exes, I'm like, Khalil been working the fields of these ladies, and I don't know where he came from. He has been edited out of everything. We don't even see him in exclusive clips. And apparently Khalil been putting in work. He's been putting in work, and the ladies are acknowledging him.
The waiting to exhale. I like that, Elsie. I like what you did there. I like what you did there. I think for TV, I think that Khalil. What this tells me is that Khalil is a decent guy, and you'll see more clip bites and things for more. I would say interesting situations, more drama is what those clips can normally be for. So if Khalil's not giving you that drama, you're not going to air his interactions because he's there, he's on the show, but it just seemed like he's not about drama, he's not about stress. So to me, it says more positively about what Khalil is as a guy than not. So yeah, that was it. Go ahead, Sean, you got it.
I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about this whole interaction that they had. I don't know. I kind of felt like Diona thinks that maybe that's a good thing, that she doesn't need to be communicated with regularly, and I mean, I'm glad she put the caveat, once I trust you, you could do anything, which is, I guess that's a fair point. But to me, I don't know. I don't think selling yourself as low maintenance is a good thing. I don't think you should, and listen, she obviously did it already. So this is me Monday morning quarterbacking, but I feel like you shouldn't just say your standards are all the way down here. I think it's fair to expect some communication, and that doesn't mean somebody. It's not like both ends of the extreme. Somebody inundating you with text messages or no text messages at all. It should be somewhere in the middle where if you're in a relationship, they're thinking about you. There's nothing wrong with having an expectation of some level of communication. And I don't know any woman that I've ever genuinely liked, and I haven't thought about them during the course of my day. I don't care how busy I am. I mean, I'm not Barack Obama. I'm not the president of the United States, so I'm sure they rank high on the list of busyness. But I mean, I've been busy, and I still have time. You have time to send somebody a text message. You have time to say something during the course of the day. You like somebody, something will pop into the course of your head. You'll have a funny experience at work. You'll be at a store and you'll see somebody that makes you think about them. Like something will happen where you'll be like, hey, just thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day. Something.
So I don't think you should set the bar so low. This is from Diona. Like, I just don't think you should just be like, you don't have, I don't care. No, you should care, because you should want some level of attention, and that goes both ways from somebody that you're in a relationship with, So I just felt like she was underselling herself, or underselling what she may want. And I just think, it could be a different perspective, but hey, that's my 2 cents. I also think that, Tay had some valid points. She came a little rough. Tay is a little rough with it, It's like, the way she expressed it, but I get it. Like, she should want to be, communicated with. And I think it seems like her and Khalil, they are on the same page, because he too says he would like a bit of communication. So I don't know. I think she should continue to explore this connection with Khalil, because I think they probably have more in common with each other.
Now, I can confess that I am very much like Diona as far as communication. I am very much, and I am not in a demanding, job like she is, being, a hectic schedule, being a firefighter. If I am at work and my work is taking my concentration, I do not need cutesy text messages. I do not need you calling me, distracting me. I do not. I am paid to put this first for the next 8 hours, unless it's an emergency. I'm serious. Now, Mr. El Cid, he needs communication. So we had to figure out a way to communicate and give him what he needed, while I felt like I was not being distracted. So again, it would be a text before you call to say, hey, honey, is this a good time? And then I would be like, okay, I have to make the time. Or I would have to be like, hey, my lunch is this. I'm going to call you as soon as I get out this office, because I don't want these people in my business listening to me speak to my husband. But again, we have to voice what we need in our relationships. And even if it's not what you want, you have to still voice that, and you have to compromise. So this whole, I understand where she is. Don't call. She has a hectic schedule. But then again, you have to give the freedom. Even so, Mr. El Cid is in a highly physical job. He appreciates some days that I do not, communicate, or that I don't communicate, because it could get him hurt in the field of work that he's in. So again, we have to communicate, we have to understand expectations, and we have to be able to tell each other when we meet or when we don't meet each other's expectations, and have the conversation.
Okay. I think it really depends on, I'm sorry, I did forget about that part of the show, where there was that exchange. But I think it really depends on the partner that you have. If you have a partner that is a few words, they don't, this about them, that they don't really hold conversations well, I think that's something that you have to take into account as well. Because if they can't hold a conversation, it's like, I don't really need to talk to you until the end of the day, when you can get your whole day together collectively, and then we can have a conversation about it. But small talk, not everyone is good at small talk. Not everyone's good at building communication, or building a conversation, or keeping the conversation going. So that's something that you have to look into as well. I think that the thing with Dion is that it's hard to tell what the reason is why she is okay with not communicating throughout the day, because I have yet to know a woman, since El Cid just said it just then, she broke a record today. I never have known a woman who would say that she's okay with not communicating with her man throughout different parts of the day. I'm not saying all throughout the whole day, but just different parts throughout the day, when there's breaks, when there's lunches, because the interest is there. I want to know what's going on. What are you doing? How's your day so far? You just check on your partner in those ways, not necessarily to hold a conversation either, but just to check on each other. So to me, I think that Dion, let's just be honest, Dion's going to get a lot of attention from men, right? She's going to get a lot of attention. I'm not saying she's a bad person for that, but excuse me. But if there is a situation where she is dating other people, or liking that type of energy from other people, then she's giving that energy back. Is she the monogamous type? I don't know, but I can't think of a reason why. And I know it's kind of like you don't really know, you can't really tell, but I'm just throwing things out there because it's just our opinions about the show, right? So my thing is that Dion saying that was the first time I ever heard a woman say she's okay with not speaking. It's more so on the lines of what Tay was saying and how Tay eloquently put it. Is I've heard that as well. Like, you need to talk to me, okay, throughout the day. I need to know you thinking about me. You need to know this, you know that. That's the type of emotion that I'm accustomed to hearing. And I think Sean was saying the same thing that he's accustomed to hearing as well. Like, as men, we just used to women saying, okay, look, I want to hear from you at some point throughout your day. You know, it doesn't have to be not at the tail end of the day, and that's only at the tail end of the day. Then how are you building? How is a relationship flourishing if you're not interacting throughout the day to kind of understand what people's moods are throughout the day, what kind of work they're dealing with, what kind of stresses at work they're dealing with. Those things are needed to help you as a partner be better intertwined with your partner and knowing those things. So that's all.
Listen, I'm hearing all of you guys making great points. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely here. Any other thoughts on this love triangle which might not work? Huh?
Listen, I missed the song in the last interaction. So, I think it's just, that great escape song. What I need from you is understanding. We just need to communicate. And I think that's super important. And I just want to make sure she's not shortchanging herself. That's all. Listen, you don't want to hear from somebody throughout the course of the day, then let that work for you. But I do think that we need to communicate. And the way that you get better at communicating with your spouse is by communicating often and having those moments and a variety of ways. It's not always going to be a long conversation. Sometimes it's a quick text. Sometimes it's a temperature check. How's your day going? I'm kind of having a bad day. That gives you a key on how you can show up for them in a better way. I had a real rough day. Let me run you a bath. Let me cater to you. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like we shouldn't put the brakes on communication. I don't think we should set the standard to just be, you ain't got to communicate with me. I just feel like you're almost selling yourself short, in doing so, and having some expectations. It's okay. Now it's the type of communication. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want somebody harassing you, bothering you, being antagonistic. No, you want healthy, positive communication throughout the day, or at during those points when you're not together. So that's I think it's so important in a relationship. And if you don't nurture and start building that foundation for what good communication looks like, for how you're going to nurture that communication, then what's going to happen is somebody's going to do something, you're going to react, and then you're already at an argument. And somebody pointed it out in the comments that, her conflict resolution style is she just keeps things pinned in. You know what I mean? Like, so when she gets annoyed, she don't say nothing. That's what she said at one point, right? I just hold it in and then I'm out. That's somebody that doesn't communicate. And I think like maybe she's been scarred or hurt by previous communication that didn't work out the right way. Where she said she had toxic dynamic in her last relationship, but that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater, So that's my long-winded summation.
I think someone in the chat put it very succinctly. I have a very strong boundary separating my personal from my work life, and that may be it. And that's the only grace I may give her, but I understand, Sean, exactly what she said. She's keeping score. And if the score reaches 3 strikes, you're out without you even knowing your place on the scorecard is absolutely not going to work for a meaningful or any kind of relationship. But again, I can understand that part of her in that regard, but that's just me just keeping work life separate and just, keeping it completely separate in my mind.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but has anyone said anything about Dion? Now, like, did anyone? I'm talking about the guys. Have you heard anyone say, "Oh, I love spending time with Dion. She's this type of woman. She's that type of woman. She brings this out of me." I've never heard that in any of the confessionals. So to me, I think Dion is really just holding on for as long as she can. It's nothing that she's giving that the other guys are seeing. It's like, yo, I want this woman to stay here because she may potentially be the one for me. It's just, I think she's just, be honest with you, I'm being transparent. She's maybe just be like nice to look at, but no one is really going for Dion. I don't know if you guys have heard something, I know something that I don't know, but to me, I just don't think she's not gonna last that long because of that.
We only saw Naim say something positive a couple of times about her, and Diona. We only heard him say, he was, checking for her, and that was the first half of the season. So we may all have forgotten. I know I had to go and refresh, what we saw the first half.
No, I'm with you guys. I mean, personally, like I said, I think to me, I can't do it. If you're going to text me during the course of the day, yeah, count me out. Deuces. I prefer to be connected. It doesn't mean I have to text you all throughout the day. It's just one or two texts just to be able to make sure you're good. It could be a short text thread. It can be 5 minutes, whatever, and you're quickly just doing something. You know what I mean? Like, we've all been there, working in an office. You're behind your laptop. Telling me you ain't got distracted before, or you're texting your babe to say, "Hey, but what's going on with you?" Like, those 5 minutes, yeah, you're supposed to be doing some work, but you're gonna be texting your babe. Okay, it happens, bro. Like, and that's not even lunch break. Okay, so because on my lunch break, I'm trying not to have too many calls. I can't lie to you. I'm trying to eat because we got an hour. I'm trying to eat, trying to have a conversation with a colleague real quick, and get back to work. So work time is when I'm trying to have the conversation. I'm not trying to have the conversation on a brunch break and take it long because lunch breaks are time for me to break. You know what I mean? But again, everyone works differently as well in that space. That's a question actually for you guys. Maybe a lunch break. Do you guys prefer to talk to the babe then, to your babes then, or is it more during the course of time of work? Of course, this is hypothetically speaking, just in case any employers are watching this. Gotta dissuade them real quick. This is hypothetical, okay? This is not in a real life situation, okay? Allegedly. So, love to know. I know Elle said you go and tell us already you ain't gonna be messaging anybody at work. So
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
She does not talk to anybody during business hours. It's negative.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It really is to protect everybody around me too. Because the thing is, if I'm having a conversation with my husband and I love speaking to my husband, I'm gonna be real pissed that I cannot go home to my husband and I got to be around y'all right now. So my thing is, when I talk to him, I'm like getting into the conversation. I'm like, okay. And then I want to spend more time with him. And I'm like, okay, I got to cut this off and go back to work, back on the grind. And now I'm pissed because I'd rather just clock out and go home and spend time with him. That too is also what happens with me. So I'm just trying not to have a irritable afternoon too. It doesn't take much. But I'm trying not to have an irritable afternoon because I'd rather be spending time and having more conversation with my husband than up in here looking at these four walls.
I guess, listen, whatever works. There's a woman that I've never met a day in my life. She sends me memes and gifts every single day on IG. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, spoiled. I don't know what it is, but I want to know you think about me. And that's just in general. Like, it doesn't take much effort. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much effort. You could send a meme that says everything you're thinking, and it could be a joke. You could forward a reel. You could forward a TikTok. And again, I'm not saying wouldn't Romeo wild. All I'm saying is it doesn't take much effort, and that goes both ways. So I just think in modern technology, I'm done.
Yo, man, to be true with you guys, man, I don't want to be in a relationship with anyone who doesn't miss me throughout the day. If you don't think about me throughout the day, or say, or ask how my day is going, or ask you how your day is going, if we don't have that back and forth interaction, there's no desire there, then what do you like about me? You know what I'm saying? When you like someone, when you genuinely like someone, you want to interact with them as much as possible. If you're just passing time, then you want to give passing time energy. To me, that's giving passing time energy when you're dating or in a relationship. And that may be something you may want to look a little bit deeper into, because if you miss your partner, you say you miss your partner, then that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I understand people have busy lives, have busy jobs, and it may be something this day you can't do, but it's not something that's on a regular. Like if you miss a day without talking to your partner because you're busy at work or you had a bunch of meetings or what have you, that's fine. That happens. But we're talking about on a consistent basis. That shouldn't be the case. And if you have a job that's that pending, that's strenuous, then your partner will understand, right? That's because it's the job. It's not because of how you personally feel about your partner. So I think that all in all, it's a good sign. It's a good thing. So I don't want anyone to feel like it's a bad thing to think about your partner. It's a bad thing to want to talk to your partner. There is a line, there's a limit to that. Sometimes people can feel like things are excessively done. Sometimes it's not excessively done. It just really depends on those two people involved to make that determination what's excessive, what's not excessive. But I think it's healthy.
I hear you, Kings. I hear you. All right, let's move it forward then, because obviously there was another couple people that were talking. I don't think it was going anywhere, but Naim obviously had a situation too.
Personalities that you got to like attain to, and I did that before.
Oh, now we get to what happened there.
2 baby moms, and then it came with 2 children. One was really, really decent, and
Okay, Naim, 5 children, 3 baby mothers. I want to know, first and foremost, before you even entertain this situation, are you entertaining a lady that has 3 baby fathers? 5 kids? Are you entertaining it? Kings, are you entertaining it? Will you bring her into the kingdom to be your queen? Yes or no? If no, why? If yes, why? Go,
Joe.
Is that for me or for Sean? Who was that for? Who was that for?
I'm asking the Kings. Kings, what are we saying? Are we having? Would you have that as your queen?
Listen. To be honest with you, we all. I mean, I won't say we all. Just too broad. Most of us have a limit, right, to how many we would prefer our potential partner to have. Sometimes it works out that way. Sometimes it doesn't. You can meet somebody, a man or a woman, that has more kids than what you're originally signed up for them, because they're a dope person, dope human being, and you find yourself in there and building a family, blending a family together. And that does happen too. I think it should just be organic. It should be real for sure. But at the same time, going in, like there's a PSA telling me how many kids you have going in, that I know what kind of energy to go into it with when I know how many kids you have going in. But if once feelings are attached and, we've gone out a few times and blah, 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 then that's a different type of energy that's being given. It's all about the information that you know beforehand versus the information you find out later. And to me, I think that, for 3 kids though, 3 baby mamas, 3 baby daddies, 3 kids, it can seem like it's a bit unsettling.
5 kids, Black. 5 kids.
5. Oh, I thought Kojo's was example was 3. 5 is definitely a no-go for me. But I have one myself, and adding on to that, you have to think about that too, the blended family element of it as well. And it's not to knock anyone who has a lot of kids, but you're going to find in the men, it's going to be some men for you, some men not going to be for you, based upon how you vibe with that. But for me, 5, it would be too much. 5 would be too much. Just like man that's 6 feet might be too short. So, people have their different opinions on it. Got to respect it all the way around.
Yeah, it's a no for me. You know, it's a no for me. 5, that is just, it's not. I'm not gonna be able to do it. And 5 kids with, he said 3, so that would mean she has 5 kids and then three baby daddies. Yeah, that's not gonna work. You know, but I'm really strict, so don't go off for me. But yeah, that could never ever work. That's too many kids. That's too many people running around. That's too many kids. That's liable to get on my nerves. You know, I like kids, but 5 kids, guaranteed 2 or 3 of them are going to be 100% annoying. And when you are the step parent, and I've lived it, you know, and thank God, you know, I had beautiful, you know, stepkids. They stressed me out, but it wasn't like, you know, they were, you know, and there was 2 of them. But 5, somebody gonna get on my nerves at some point in time. And I don't understand how he does it, because you've got, like, how do you split the weekends? When do you see the kids? Like, how is that? Like, I just wouldn't, I mean, and put in, you know, like me, like, if I'm dating a woman and she has 5 kids, is she gonna have time? Unless 2 of them kids are, you know, staying with their dad, I don't know where she will have time to really seriously entertain a relationship. Yeah, so because 5 is a lot, and they're probably all different ages, you know, different activities. You know, you got some in school plays, some playing soccer, some doing this, gymnastics. Yeah, that's how you got time. I just don't know. So, I mean, Naim seems to be a level-headed dude. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's Nick Cannon and we don't know it, but 5 is a lot of kids. That's a lot to be balancing.
You know what I don't like, Elsa, I want to say this real quick, real quick. What I don't like about this is that they knew he had 5 kids from the beginning of the show. Why did they wait until now? That's the part that I didn't like, because if you knew 5 kids were going to be enough for you now, you knew 5 kids weren't going to be enough for you in the beginning. So why did you even do that? That's the problem that I had with the ladies who were interested in him and kept him threading along this whole time. I'm sorry, Elsa, go ahead.
That's fine. You know, Kojo certainly put out the call to the king, so I have to wait my turn. So to put in perspective, okay, Naim has had interviews while on hiatus, and if I remember correctly, his youngest is 18. Okay, so we don't have the soccer games practices, but we do have a division of his attention, because these children will need their father's attention. He also is a small business owner, so he also has to be there and handle that as well. So yes, the 5 children, the 3 mothers of the children, and those mothers, he was not a choir boy back in the day, but none of those women have anything terrible to say about him. So I can't see, one mother, not dragging all your dirty laundry out here, but he has 3 that are willing to say that he has grown and is a better man than he was in the past. I could give you that. I'm not, dating someone at all at that age, especially if I have no kids. Not happening. I'm going to find someone who's at the same, value of real estate that I am. Not happening. 5 kids is a lot to handle, and then you're with these young ladies who want kids of their own. I am sure he ain't looking to go back to start all over from the beginning. So again, why is he here? Now, the number of kids has been an issue on Ready to Love. Remember Houston? The man was divorced. I can't remember. He was voted out first on the resort. He had all 5 kids with his ex-wife. Yet he wasn't even given the chance to say they were all with his ex-wife. So multiple children does not bode well in this situation for dating on any kind of dating show. 1 child for some people is too much. So when you throw in 5, you're going to be hard pressed to find anyone willing to deal with that, even if it's from one ex-wife, you know, it is a lot to consider, especially when you want to have children of your own. So again, you know, it is a lot. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been casted, but he should have been presented in a different way. I don't see ladies here on the show with 5 kids and 3 baby fathers. So there ain't nobody on this cast I could see him matching with, unless there was a lady that didn't want any children and was willing to be a wonderful bonus parent to his children. But I don't see any matches from day one for him.
Okay. I mean, shoot. Still ain't gonna date him. All right, cool. So, any other thoughts around maybe Naim, obviously Diona, Tay? Because what is Tay even doing there? I don't know if she had to keep him as a. I don't know if Tay was keeping him there for the fact that she can stay on the show. Diona, we already knew she ain't gonna take that nigga seriously, so I don't know what's going on. What were your thoughts in terms of Diona and Tay sticking around with Naim with the 5 kids and 3 baby mothers? I mean, a friend was saying that he's a very loving guy, though.
Apparently, that's all you're doing is loving. And sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. You tell the truth, sis.
Apparently, very loving. Fertile too. I mean, we're having 5 kids. I mean, I can understand his friend is there to let the ladies know, you know, who he is and whatnot. But the friend has 7 of his own. Naim's friend has 7. Granted, it's with his wife, but he has 7 children. Okay. I gotta say, Sean, I know you hate for me to not hate, but you get irritated sometimes. It's Philly. I'm sorry. This Naim sounds like not the 5, but his friend sounds like my cousins who are in very, you know, long-standing marriages that have multiple children that I can't even keep up with birthdays and names and everything. I need you to give me a chart. But again, the friend, you know, I wish the friend would break down what happened with his relationships, how he's seen Naim grow or whatever. But it seems like in the past, since the age of these kids, yeah, he loving. I mean, he loving. He's also Mr. Steal Your Girl. He sat down with Cisco. So we could talk about his dark arts too, going back in the past. He sat down with Cisco, had a moment of brotherly conversation, and the next day he's rubbing Tay's feet. Again, he is working the room with the ladies. He is a ladies' man. So my thing is, he just any of the ladies who want children should not be on the list for him at all. It's not going to work at all because he ain't trying to start all over, and he can't tell me any different.
Well, I guess your grace has run out when it comes to Naim, huh?
Yeah.
she laid him out.
That's all he's doing is laying. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure what Tay is doing there at all. But Tay had him before they took this extended hiatus. He was at the house, you know. So I think Naim is clearly a charmer. he clearly he knows his way around the ladies. So he has charmed them long enough to stay in this race. But as we know, he will be packing it up, thankfully. I think his time is as nice as he is. He's not going to do a service for some of the most of the ladies here. And like El Cid even mentioned, it's like if there was a woman that had a couple of kids already and didn't really mind, or doesn't have kids but was okay with being, you know, a stepmom in that capacity, but that's such a very unique like part of the population. You know, I just don't. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to find his person in a setting like Ready to Love. Yeah. So seems like a cool guy. We didn't really see a lot from him. He seemed relatively easygoing. But yeah. And clearly he doesn't have a problem finding women. So I'm sure he'll be good once he leaves.
I don't I don't remember hearing him say that he didn't want more kids though. I didn't hear him say he wasn't open to more kids. So the ladies, I know the ladies have emphasized the fact that they want to have kids, and I think he was okay with it. So him starting over may not be a thing, it might not be an issue for him. Should it be? That's subjective, but I definitely think that with 5 kids, for a man with 5 kids, especially, try to work things out with your last partner. You know what I mean? Because that's a hard hill to climb. That's more like a mountain to come in with 5 kids, and then what can you do? Because let's be honest with each other. Women like to be cared for in relationships. If all your pocket change is going towards your kids, and I don't care how old your kids are, if they're over 18, they're still your kids. In my opinion, I feel like they're still going to call you when they need you. They're still going to be short on rent money. It could be anything, right? So the kids are still going to be your kids even after 18. So that part, them being older, it can still be a thing. But I do know that, when it comes to children and women understand children. Women understand you having kids, but they still want to be first in other ways. Like you have to find a way to make your woman feel like she's a top priority, as well as making sure you take care of your kids. And doing that balance is tough with just 1 kid, but trying to do it with 5, that's really hard. And I think that's the thing that is speaking to the ladies when they say they can't handle the 5 kids. But again, I think they knew this when he first got on the show. When one of the contestants, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Tay, walked away from him when he said he had 5 kids. That's the energy she gave then. That should have been the energy that she stayed, that's just stayed with her. But yeah, all in all, man, I think that he is deserving of love. It's just not just because he has 5 kids, but everything that he's going through when it comes to those kids is that he's gone through it before. Nothing that anyone has said to him is surprising. So he's heard this plenty of times that 5 kids is a lot. So to me, I think that Naim, I just don't want him to have that spirit or that mindset of giving up on love. Someone out there will be okay with it. It's just hard to find. But yeah, I think it's possible for sure.
I'm sure there's somebody who would decide to take on that risk and take on that weight for themselves. But as for me, I wouldn't be advising any of my sisters to go for that. He gonna be on his own, so he needs to figure that out. Okay. Any other thoughts on Naim, Diona, and Tay in that space as well? Especially the fact that Tay already says she wants a person with a house and the keys. Yes, Sean.
No.
You better say something crazy.
I think of a song at the last second, but no, I'm just gonna, he can take the healing song because, that.
I hear you. Don't even worry. I got you.
So clearly, once again, me not texting and calling her right back is an issue. It's not that I'm not interested and I don't want to text her back, but I'm definitely working on it. I knew I was going to see her today.
Now, Hussein, what the frick is that? He said, I ain't texted back, but I'm working on it. What you working on? Text her, don't text her, bro. What you mean you're working on it? I've never heard someone say I need to construct my texting game for you. Just want to make sure it's under construction. Yes, Sean.
Yo, he was killing me. And Hussein, he's our, our resident friend around here, so I just don't, he blew me with this song though, because what he was talking about, I knew I was going to see you today, so I wanted to let it build. What? Hussein, yeah, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Either you just really are truly not interested in any of these ladies, or you just got some work to do, brother, because ain't no way. Ain't no way. And they all have the same, everybody, Angie, Rose, they're all saying like you're not communicating. And I just felt like it was wild. And then his friends, talk about your friends. Will they let you down? His friends, what the heck? What the heliante? His friends asking Rose all those sexual questions. Talk about how is she in the bedroom? Like, bro, did you tell your boys like, hey, listen, this is the stuff I want you to focus on? Old boy over here was with the poly of it all. So you knew you would need to be like, yo, this one, do you have even any acknowledgement of Rose? And then I'm mad at Rose for answering the questions. She like backed away, but then she still answered. I'm like, Rose, you should have just picked up your stuff and left like Viola Davis and picked up her purse. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't understand it. This whole dynamic perplexed me. Angie talk about she was the bartender for his friends that was poly. That listen, I wish Jay was here, our resident, bartender that understands these things, because they looked a whole lot more friendly than, oh, I just worked at an event that you were at. So I'm not buying it. Sorry, I'm not buying it. I don't know what the nature of it is, but something was definitely cooking up there. And yeah, so Hussein, I need Hussein to come to the front. He's very active. I need him to, in these social media streets. We need to understand what was going through your dome piece, bro, because what you're not communicating, you're telling them you're going to see them, you're getting this feedback, you're not adjusting, you're bringing these poly guys, they're asking the women, it's how you going to, how are the women going to be sexually? Your boys is talking about they know you a freak, so, your other boys say he was your roommate. Bro, this is a lot. Your friends, yeah, this was definitely perplexing. He is not ready to love, at least not any of these ladies.
With respect to the relationship built with the channel, I will say this. The comments after this are strictly of Corey Black, Black Made Media. So let me go ahead and say this. BS. The BS when it comes to Hussein. I think that the whole text message thing was BS. I think that if there's any type of attraction he has with the women, I also think that he is stepping outside of the show, possibly dating someone else, because you can make time to text someone. You can make time to return someone's text. That's not a hard thing to do. You see it, boop, boop, okay, go ahead and return the text. To look at someone's text and then look off and be like, okay, I'll text them later, it is not genuine interest. So if that's what he's doing and he's making light of the whole thing, then it's BS. His whole demeanor is BS to me. He's not a masculine man to me. I don't know why the women are attracted to him. I think it may be just because of height, skin tone. I don't know, but I know it can be because it's masculinity. This is the same guy that met the friend and was intimidated by the friend talking about wiping the sweat off his forehead. Man, I'm not going to let any man know that you want to intimidate me. I'm not going to be intimidated by any other man. So to me, Hussein just didn't seem like that type of man to step up and protect his woman, stand up for his woman, because he sure didn't do that when his friends was questioning Rose. He didn't not one time say, hey, bro, you're going too far now. Mind your business. That's too personal. He could have said that, but no, he didn't. When they said that, hey, he has a high intimacy level, has a high drive. Okay, fine. Why did that need to be brought up here? What business is that of yours to bring up to a woman that I'm interested in? So to me, his whole thing with Hussein is BS. And then when he got to the elimination round, he was actually scared he was going to be eliminated. Rightfully so, because if you're doing everything the right way, you're treating these women with respect, and you're returning their phone calls, returning their text messages, you wouldn't have a worry or concern about being voted off because you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man. To me, Hussein is just a waste of time, a big waste of time. I said it to you. I'm done.
I agree that Hussein does not look like he's interested in any of these ladies at all, because if you wish to communicate, you would. You know, it was a weak excuse. And Hussein, if you out in these streets dating, you got to come with a better excuse than it's under construction. It's still on its way. You know what? You got a weak Wi-Fi. It's not making it all the way. Your message is not going through. You know, at least you know, Miss Google phone number had a better excuse than that for Naim. This was weak. It was weak. Just say, hey, I got too busy and it got away from me. I really sorry. I'm going to work on it. That would be better than say it's under construction. It's on its way. What, via Raven? I mean, come on. But the Angie thing, Sean, I'm not going to say anything other than Angie may have bartended one of his events and seen this man in his birthday suit and is thoroughly embarrassed that she did. Because you don't know if it's a poly, if it's a, you know, swingers event that she probably didn't even know. And she could possibly be, oh my gosh, no, on this show, I am not seeing this man that I've seen more of than the man I'm currently dating on the show. It could be something as simple as that. I don't think anything onto what happened, but again, this is edited. It could be edited so we didn't see her full embarrassment. But she went straight ahead and say, hey, I know you, and alleviated it. And, you know, maybe Hussein was fine with it because he didn't, you know, have any interest in her. But the friend asking, I think Rose just, you know, caught up in the whole thing of, you got to answer. You're here with the friends. You want to make a good impression, but sometimes you can refuse to answer a question, Rose. You can refuse. We didn't hear Angie's answer, you know, and then the friend to say, well, can we get the three of y'all together? Sir, could you stay out of the people business? This is Ready to Love. Granted, it doesn't say ready to love one person, but it is not ready to throuple. Okay? Keep your lifestyle with you. If your friend wishes to have these ladies join him, then he can certainly ask and he could certainly answer that. Okay? I'm sorry. The friend was a little too vocal, or maybe it was edited that we only saw his questions because it was inflammatory. That I would give, because I was like, you know, the food looked too good. I would have been chowing down and completely ignoring all of those comments and stuff like that. And I definitely was not telling you. I would have been opposite of Rose, like, well, you know what? However I am, that is for him to find out. And maybe he talked to you if y'all talk that kind of talk. But I'm not going to share that with you. Sorry, not happening.
You know, I noticed that, and I know you know guys noticed as well, when the question was asked, Angie, how do you, I mean, I don't think it was asked at Angie, it was asked, how do you guys know each other? Angie made sure that she spoke first and then told what she wanted to tell and then said, and that's it, nothing else. As a cue for him to say, for her to tell him, okay, don't say anything else about the events or don't say anything else about what happens at the events. It was more her controlling the conversation about, hey, I know you. I don't know why she even said that. I really don't. I just don't understand why she said that. Hey, I know you. So I think, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's something that I just picked up on, the fact that she tried to control the situation by saying, and that's all.
But if I saw you knowing her, I would say it too, because I'm not going to sit down and then have the friend say, oh, we know each other. It would look more suspicious if she didn't come out the gate to say it. Now, do you really think Angie saying, and that's all, would shut that brother up? Or he would not continue the conversation and say what he needed to say? She was not going to shut him up with, that's it, that's all, don't say nothing more. If he wanted to drop a dime, he would have. I don't see that brother having anything to say, well, I'm going to keep this a secret between us. No, he would say it. He would say, I've been there a time or two. Ain't nothing shutting him up. If that was the case, that they had, you know, relations. That brother don't look like he's scared to say anything to anyone in front of the camera.
Al says, giving grace again. See, she gonna give it and she gonna take it away. So she don't give some grace. She don't give. She giving Angie a whole lot of grace. She giving her grace. All right. She took the grace away with Naim, but she came back with it with Angie. All right. So you want her to have grace.
I think she would tell. I think he would tell Hussein though. At the end of all of that, I think he would have to tell his friend. He's not a good friend if he don't tell a friend. I want my friend to tell me what went down to that party, man. This conversation definitely not over at that table. We're gonna have a conversation about this.
He was willing to ask about if they would get together as a throuple. He was willing to ask this woman about her, stamina. Do you really think he ain't gonna put that out there? Or at least say, man, this ain't for you. I mean, come on. That y'all are giving him grace that he would sit there and be pious and just let it roll. I am not giving him any kind of grace. I'm not actually passing it to Angie. I'm saying Angie ain't gonna control that brother. And he don't look like he would be controlled by a that's it and that's all.
I think that his conversations were mostly based upon his views, his personal views, and how he wants to move. Even him asking about them being a throuple, that was from him, his mindset. But I don't know, man. Some of the conversation that was in this interaction made it seem like Hussein was like coaching them on what to ask. Because some of the questions were just out there, in the fact that he didn't come in and say anything or try to stop it. He just and that's all he did. He just laughed it off. It's like, bro, these are your boys. Why are they asking these type of questions to your girl or someone you're interested in? You got to shut that down. He didn't do that. So to me, I think he may have coached him to say all that crazy stuff. It's some stuff that he was thinking of, that was on his mind, and it's especially the combination of the two, where okay, he has a high drive versus what about you guys being a throuple? Like those two back to back, like it to me, it just says that yeah, he wants to say something. He wants to get something out there, but without looking bad. He wants his friends to do it for him. Again, not a masculine move. If you want what you want, just say it. If you want to be a throuple, bro, say you're looking for a throuple. If you got a high drive, tell the lady you got a high drive and see how she responds to it. You don't have to hide behind nobody. So to me, that's why I say Hussein, and just anyway.
I didn't want to say it, but he said it. As a professional dominant, do you really think she was going to shut him up with a that's it and a that's all? Really? Really? Sell me something else.
The reason why I say that is because it has nothing to do with anyone else. He'll talk about himself. He asked a question about them being a throuple, but he don't go into detail about what he was doing. He didn't go into detail about how they can be a throuple. It was pretty much cut off as soon as Rose said something. But my thing is that he's not going into those details. He asked questions, because he's interested in knowing, okay, would you consider doing this? But he never gave any detail about anything. So I wouldn't think he would give details about the event or what took place at the event. Just my thought on
that. Yeah, I think that's the number one rule. Like we could talk around stuff, but when it gets to specifics, especially if we're talking about individuals we've dealt with and we know we're on camera, he ain't gonna say that on camera if it was true. Your boy's not gonna necessarily do that. He will tell you after the fact, hey, I've had friends, meet a girl, or I said, oh, I'm talking to this one, and they'll be like, after the fact, oh yeah, da-da-da-da, and catch me up on whatever it was, good or bad, right? They're not going to do that in the moment. Now if they do, there are people that do that. That's a different type of person. That's a next level wild personality that's just going to blow the person up right there. And it's being televised. Yeah, I don't see him doing that, But again, it's a speculation. We don't know.
Based on what he said, he would. I don't put anything past that he would not. This man has said so much already. Do you really think he wouldn't say, been there, done that? Here's a song for you, Sean. Ray J. I hit it first. I mean, come on. That man would have said something. I'm sorry. I'm not giving him
Okay.
that grace.
Okay, I'll say this. What if he did say something? What if him mentioning the whole throuple idea was him saying something? And so it's in very few words, that was his way of saying something. He opened it up to saying that because he wasn't thinking throuple until Angie came into the picture. So he knows something. He knows something about Angie. And a good friend will tell his friend that behind closed doors, yo, bro, I just want to let you know with Angie, blah, 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 blah. So what's going to tell that is we're going to see the interactions moving forward between Hussein and Angie. And that's going to tell us if anything happened, because it should be a major shift when that does happen. So to me, again, he had Rose there the whole time before Angie got there. Never mentioned anything about throuple to Rose. Hey, do you think you will be interested in adding a third to this relationship? Never mentioned that. But as soon as he saw Angie, hey, so why not? Hey, what's going on here? What's this about? Because I know she down. So what is this about? That's the only reason why he would bring that up, in my opinion. So he told, but in very few words.
But I don't understand how everybody went from, and this is more in the comments than anything. The guy said he was poly, and y'all done made him them swingers, like, and they're having sex parties. Like, how do we? y'all done did a whole leap. All
listen, man,
is that he's poly.
when you say things like events, we know what that's about. That was a key word for me. He said event. Yes. She said, I bartended at some of his events. Like, if you have any events, it's a thing. It's
like Marvin. It's like Marvin from Dallas. He probably having events like Marvin from Dallas, which you would need a bartender.
Well, I stand corrected then. Let's hope he comes out and clears this up for us. Not Diddy parties. Oh no. Good Lord. Well, listen, I got a song, and I had this on deck, and I'm so glad I held this one for Hussein. But y'all gonna have to guess it in the comments. I see past pretty faces, so I got trouble trusting, but I let my guard down for you. Said I'll put my guard down for you. Said I'll be vulnerable, so you can break my heart if you want to. She said, take your time. What's the rush? What song is that? Put it in the chat, because this is Hussein's anthem.
I let that marinate.
I'm a dog. I'm a
roll for the win. She was the first one, I got it. Girl, I'm a mutt.
I'm gonna let that marinate. But yeah, no. I mean, it was. I agree with you guys. I think it's a little Freaky Friday nonsense going on with Angie having to bartend and know his friend, and it's just highly coincidental. You know what I mean? So, I ain't gonna say nothing too tough. But obviously, at the end, Naim and Hussein were the two that were at the bottom. I'm not gonna ask you whether you thought they should be or not, because it doesn't really matter. But the two of them were at the bottom. They sent Naim home. I can guess what you're going to say, but still, it's important to ask. Right decision for Naim to go home, or wrong decision? It's our last conversational topic. Right decision, wrong decision. What were your thoughts on Naim going home?
I think it's right. I think it's right decision. Bad timing. I think it should have been Cisco first, then Naim. But all in all, it'd be the same.
Elsid?
For production reasons, it was the right person, right time. I think he should have gone weeks before, because ain't nobody got time for that. But definitely, I think they put Hussein in the bottom to kind of set him back on his heels. We've heard that from Rated Love contestants before, And I think they certainly use that. But, you know, Hussein looked like, hey, if I got to go home, whatever, I just go home. The text is still under construction.
Sean.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it was Naeem's time. You know, I really don't think. I think that the ladies liked him as a person, but I don't think they saw him as a romantic interest at all. His person is not in this group of women, so I think it was the right choice to do. You know, to send him home. Hopefully, Hussein gets the message, literally and figuratively, and starts texting and reaching out more often. And you know, but if not, it is what it is. He could be next on the chopping block too.
Definitely hear on that. Well, listen, we've come to the end of the road for today's episode. Y'all got me through it. Ain't gonna lie to you, because Ready to Love was about to lose me all the way. You know, but we're back. It seems in business. Well, tomorrow Love is Blind is on for UK people them, so they released some episodes for that. So we'll be back on those lives as well, and we'll definitely do some more content for you guys on panels. I know the man didn't want to get together, so we'll definitely have to create some stuff. Probably on a Wednesday, actually. Wednesday's probably the easiest day, actually. So we'll look to start doing that as well. Sean, give us the benediction. I'm sure he's planning a song as we speak.
It's a song I mentioned earlier and have quoted many a time, but I think it's just apropos for tonight, and it's understanding, you know, and I think that's what our relationships need, for us to understand one another, for us to learn how to love each other the way we want to be loved. Right? I shouldn't be loving you the way I want to be loved. I should be loving you the way you want to be loved, and vice versa. So understanding is important. And how can we communicate if you don't hear what I say? Right? So if you're not hearing what the other person is saying, there is no communication. And without hearing, we are not able to move forward, right? So what is hearing? It's not just hearing sounds. It is listening. It is hearing. It is understanding. It is making sure you're clear on what the person is saying, and that you're checking in to make sure that what you said is clear and what they said is clear. So the best way to understand in your relationship is to communicate effectively and often. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate it, honestly, as well. Thank you for all those who have participated as well. Shout out to those who contribute with the super chat as well. Feel good. Everyone said Rose is a beautiful red flag. She needs healing. Phil again said, no disrespect, Diona is a trainer. There is time. And then he went on to say, hell nah, we together. You better check in daily. I'm with this man. I like it. He said Husseini's friends were super whack as F. I hear it. I ain't gonna lie to you. And Kesha obviously sent us as well a little super chat too. We appreciate you. And she said, super weird for friends to talk about his sex drive. I hear that because I don't know. I'm not gonna be talking about my boy's sex drive like that, to be honest. And then Tempican said, I love that the men on the channel hold other men accountable. Absolutely. Everybody can get held accountable in this space, both the men and the women as well. You get me? So listen, we gonna be back, getting back into the groove of this YouTube stuff. Sometimes you take a little bit of a break, man, because I ain't been as consistent this year. Coaching and stuff, it takes a lot of energy. You don't realize by the time I finish the coaching, I don't even look at YouTube. So we're going to try and get back on this game and be more consistent because it's been a little while, but I definitely want to get the man them together to get a little conversation going. I know we need to. I think it'd be good to get some topics going, just to talk about some stuff that's happening in the relationship world and stuff. I know we didn't get to talk about
a member live
Sha'Carri Richardson situation, but.
A member live?
Well, it'll be open. Yeah, maybe it might be. We'll see. You know what I mean? Once I get actually consistent, maybe we could do a member live. Right now, I'm never consistent. I had to get myself back into consistency. And then we'll probably have to end up doing that as well. So I'll definitely discuss with the boys behind the scene first before we travail into anything. I need to get back to our pop the balloon stuff as well. So we're gonna get back to that tomorrow as well. But listen, if you're around tomorrow, we're on TikTok. Myself and Jay, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're on TikTok, and then obviously we're back on YouTube. Myself and Sean, we're doing Pop the Balloon. I'm sure if Corey is free, we should invite you too. Corey, you want to come and do some Pop the Balloon stuff? It'll be good to have you on board. The random getting together to talk about this stuff is hilarious stuff. So that's what I'd say as well. I think we'll do it. If we're doing Pop the Balloon, is at 7 p.m. EST. I'll do it early so you guys can get on with the rest of the day. We'll keep for an hour, no more than an hour, no longer than an hour. So if we don't finish the show, we don't finish the show. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're going to do it tomorrow. So I'll send the link to you guys. Audience members, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Keep yourselves in a good space. Tomorrow's another day. I appreciate you, and we'll see you again soon. Much